Hi, this is Oikos Economy and Ecology, and today we will be talking about the World Cup, World Soccer or Football Cup. Uh, the 2026 FIFA World Cup kicks off on June 11th. 48 teams, 104 matches, 16 host cities sprawling across the three countries, the United States, Mexico, and Canada. FIFA is billing it as the greatest sporting spectacle in history. And The Economist, they came out swinging initially with some truly eye popping numbers: $40.9 billion in global GDP, 824,000 new jobs. Los Angeles County alone projected nearly 600 million in economic impact just from 8 matches. These are incredible figures. The problem? The world changed between the press releases and the kickoff. Let's start with what's actually happening on the ground in the host cities. Hotel rates have fallen by a third from Atlanta to San Francisco. The America Hotel and Lodging Association says bookings are well below expectations. Fans aren't showing up the way that the organizers had hoped for. Why? Three reasons. First, the Trump slump. That's not a political slogan, it's what economists are calling the measurable cooling of international tourism to the United States. Stricter border controls, hostile rhetoric towards visitors from certain countries, and a genuine fear of what might happen at customs. International tourists who might have spent thousands in New York or Miami are choosing to stay home or go elsewhere. Second, prices. Tickets for knockout stage matches can run to several $1,000s. Even passionate fans are doing the math and deciding that the math just doesn't work for them. Third, the overall atmosphere. When you combine immigration uncertainty with sky high prices, inflation anxiety, you get hesitation. And hesitation doesn't fill stadiums. Now, let's talk about what the numbers actually look like when you strip away the hype. BMO, an investment bank, estimates that the US economy could receive a quarterly boost from tourism of somewhere between 22 and $76 billion. That's a wide range, which tells you something about the uncertainty. In terms of annualized GDP growth, that translates to somewhere between zero point 0.1 and zero point 0.3 percentage points, basically a rounding error. Canada is hosting matches in Toronto and Vancouver. The Parliamentary Budget Office of Canada estimates the public cost of hosting in both cities exceed 1 billion Canadian dollars. That's including security. In Canada's macroeconomic gain, about zero point 0.1 percentage points of GDP. Mexico gets the glory of the opening match at Azteca Stadium, becoming the first venue in history to host 3 World Cups. Between Mexico City, Guadalajara, and Monterrey, Mexico, they host 13 matches. The expected economic impact, again, between zero point 0.1 and zero point 0.2 percentage points of GDP. Positive, yes, but temporary and geographically concentrated. Europe, which is home to most of the tournament favorites, gets essentially nothing. Zero measurable macroeconomic benefit. The fans travel out, the money stays in North America. Here's the structural issue, and it comes up every single time we analyze mega sporting events like the Olympics, the Super Bowl, or the World Cup. The pattern is almost always the same. The public sector absorbs the costs, the private sector captures the profits. Governments build or renovate stadiums, expand security forces, upgrade infrastructure, and manage the massive logistical burden of hosting. Then the revenues from the tickets, the broadcasting rights, sponsorships, and licensing flows primarily to FIFA, the World Football Federation, and to private businesses, hotels, airlines, retailers. There's an economic concept called the substitution effect that further shrinks the real benefit. Most of the money spent by domestic fans at the World Cup is money they would have spent on something else anyway. A local fan who buys a World Cup ticket is probably not taking a vacation this summer. The only spending that counts as a genuine net gain for the host economy is money brought in by foreign visitors. And as we discussed, that pool is smaller than expected. Academic economists who study these events have reached this conclusion so consistently that it's almost a law. The economic gains from mega events are modest and short lived. Now, what about the sporting outcome? Let's give you the numbers on who might actually win. Goldman Sachs, the investment bank, published a statistical model at the end of May. They ran Monte Carlo simulations using the Elo rating system, supplemented with data on scoring talent, recent momentum, and home advantage factors. The results: Spain leads with a 26% probability of winning the cup. France is second at 19%. Argentina, the defending champion, comes in at 14%. Brazil at 8%. England and the Netherlands around 5%. Goldman Sachs projects semi-final between France and Spain on the one side and Brazil and Argentina on the other. In a final, Spain versus Argentina, which Spain wins. This aligns with what Goldman Sachs calls the winner slump, the statistical tendency of World Cup champions to underperform in the following tournament. Argentina won in Qatar. Now the numbers say it's someone else's turn. For Latin America outside the giants, Colombia shows the best odds among the smaller contenders with a 2.2% chance of winning the title. In Ecuador, Goldman assigns Ecuador an 84% probability of making it out of the group stage, which is good news. Ecuador is no longer the team that automatically goes home after 3 games. The round of 16, 42% chance of advancing. Quarterfinals, 15%. And winning the whole thing, 0.8%. That's the same as Senegal and Mexico, Mexico being one of the host countries. I want to close with a bigger picture thought, because the economics of this World Cup point to something beyond just the GDP figures. The World Economic Forum makes the case that sport acts as an economic catalyst when 3 things are present: trust, openness, and social cohesion. When these conditions exist, the spillover effects can be real and lasting. They point to Wrexham, a small Welsh mining town that transformed its local economy through the story built around its football club. Not just the matches, but the narrative, the identity, the sense of shared purpose. The World Cup could do something similar in certain cities. But a poisoned atmosphere works the other way. When international visitors feel unwelcome, when prices exclude ordinary fans, when political uncertainty makes travel feel risky, you end up with something economically valuable sitting in a half-empty stadium. And a half-empty stadium is the conditions that breaks the entire model. There's an old line from Arrigo Sacchi, the legendary Italian football coach. Football is the most important thing of the least important things. Whether Spain lifts the trophy or Argentina avenges its statistical slump, whether Ecuador makes the quarterfinals for the first time, whether Colombia has its breakthrough moment, all of it matters enormously to those who feel it directly. The economy will continue its course, goals or no goals. The cities hosting these matches will be paying their debts long after the bunting comes down and the cameras move on. That's the World Cup that no one puts in the brochure. This has been Oikos, Economy and Ecology. I'm Luis Fierro. You can read the full article in my Substack. See you the next time. Thank you.